These are the birds of prey. I'm not particularly sure what this is. But there are a few things that are kind of universally maligned that I realize that I have to kind of not justify, but explain why I feel certain ways about these particular shows. And one of these shows is Birds of Prey. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not saying this show is good. I'm not even saying that this show didn't deserve to be canceled, because I think that it ending where it did a good job in trying to wrapping everything up really quickly. Could it have maybe improved as it went along? Maybe, but we can't judge it based on what could have been. However, what I will say is that this show's biggest flaws was not it existing, but how it marketed itself and how it kind of put the world together. Because I feel like it could have been a much better show, but the expectations of what it was gonna give you compared to what we actually got. So I put down the pros and cons of what I think that this show offered. And since I know my audience, I'm gonna start with the cons. The marketing for this show. On the box set, it says, Batman's little girl is all grown up. It says so right there. Is Batman anywhere to be seen? No. And that was his first mistake. You can't have a show supposedly about Batman and your biggest hook being the relationship between Helena and Batman, and there be no Batman. I mean, yes, we got Alfred, yeah, we got Barbara Gordon, but let's face it, Batman would have been the big draw in for anyone trying to get a glimpse of him, but we don't really get a really good glimpse of anyone except like a really, really ham-headed Joker, who is voiced by Mark Hamill, by the way, and, you know, Catwoman briefly, but that's not really worth anything. The show was trying to be like Smallville. It even references Smallville in its pilot. It talks about like the meteor showers happening and stuff like that what occurs in Smallville. But what they forgot was that people actually know and care about Superman. No one particularly knows who Earth 2 Helena Wayne is, or her interaction with, you know, Earth 2 or Earth 1 Oracle. Because the thing about the Birds of Prey is that, you know, there is a Helena on the team who is Huntress, who is, you know, who they based this Helena character in the show based on. This is a completely different Helena, you know. So it's like, it's not even the same characters and you're trying to force that dynamic, you know. And you got Alfred in there, it's like, please, stop. So, you know, there was no connection to these random, you know, characters who no one knew about. I mean, unless you're like a big, you know, fan of the comic books, you know Batgirl, but you may not particularly know Oracle, because even in Batman Beyond, Barbara Gordon never becomes Oracle because the Killing Joke isn't part of DCAU canon. So that never happened. And so that's why I think the second biggest con with the show is the weak ties it had to the actual comic books. I mean, you have, like I said, Earth 2 Helena Wayne, who is not part of the main DC canon anymore. So that should have been just the regular Helena character. You didn't have to bring in this whole tie to Batman because it makes people expect to see Batman, and Batman wasn't in there. The fact that, you know, Oracle's there, and that's okay. But really, the only character who is an actual Birds of Prey from the comic books in this show is Oracle. Played, the actress who plays her is actually really good. I'll talk more about her in the pro. But all you have is Barbara Gordon playing a role that's really not really known to people who like would be watchers of like the animated series or Batman Beyond. They would know who Oracle is, so they don't have that immediate connection. Then you have the completely slaughtered character of Dinah Lance, played by some girl who is nothing like that character at all. So you really don't have even the core characters from the Birds of Prey universe in this show, which is immediately a turnoff for anyone who's a fan of the comic book. Third thing, the fake Dinah Lance. I give her her own section because she is terrible, okay? No one needed that character. Why did you change her? They bring in another, you know, the previous Black Canary, played by an actress I give no shits about, so I don't even care. But it's like, you don't have her. She bears no resemblance to the character. All of the, like, you know, I like Dinah as a character, but also the sex appeal is gone. There's no sex appeal for that character. She's kind of like, oh, the kid warrior and she gotta go find the family. It's bullshit. It's some bullshit Robin looking thing that they're trying to do, but it's not clever. It's not interesting. The actress wasn't that good, although she's gonna be in Lost Girl season 3. Hopefully, she will be better. But it's like, they gave her no material to work with either, so you can't even really just say she's the actress. Like, they gave her no material to work with. It's just really like teen angst drama crap, and like these weird powers that don't make any sense. Just, she's irrelevant. They should just had regular Dinah in there. Should have just done this whole thing of like newcomer. Just have them all be a team already established. Go kick butt. We can do exposition later. Okay, come on. The world building. Whoa, New Gotham. What? What are you talking about? This entire universe makes no sense. What is a metahuman? Why do we care? How can one be half meta-human? If it's why is, Catwoman suddenly a metahuman? That she has special powers? What mythos are they kind of growing this whole universe in? Like, okay, so now you want to do the whole metahuman thing, which would work better, because they had the whole thing, like, you have the what are they called in Static Shock? Bang babies. You had the whole bang baby phenomenon, which would have been interesting if they had actually brought it in and had it kind of be relevant, because then you could be like, yeah, they're metahumans because of this, but why make Catwoman a metahuman? It doesn't have anything to do with canon. What are you doing? And the other thing about New Gotham, why is it new all of a sudden? It's been 30 years, and in 30 years, within a span of like literally one generation, Batman becomes a myth. Not even. Are you serious? Like, how is he even a myth? He was in a newspaper. Everyone knew who Batman was. What were you going to say? He didn't really exist? You have proof. All the people in Arkham Asylum, did they just make that up? How can he be a myth? You make no sense, show. World building was terrible. It was just this weird New Gotham. It was so poorly handled. It was just kind of making it have this kind of gritty, almost Sin City look to it. But it had no sense of continuity, and it made no sense. If you're grunting this in post-killing joke Batman universe in some weird thing where like Batman retires, which, okay, in some incarnations he does retire and do other stuff, fine. Okay, got it. But all this crap don't make no sense. And finally, shitty CGI. I mean, they literally have the same CGI motion for every single episode, doing the exact same scene, and it's so horrible because like it's Helena doing this kind of like going on the rooftop and jumping around and running and doing like a flip. It's the exact same outfit from the one time she did it, and it was horrible that one time, and they keep doing it. And even though she's wearing completely different clothes or has completely different styles, it's the exact same CGI thing. I'm just kind of shaking it like, what are you doing? So yeah, those are the cons of Birds of Prey. Bad marketing, really poorly conceptualized world building, didn't have enough connection to the actual comic book that they were based upon, bad Dinah, bad Black Canary, and crappy CGI. Not a good start. However, I will argue that there were pros to this series that were not Shamar Moore. Because Shamar Moore brings everything up, in my opinion. But there were other things. Number one, because it's the most important one, Harley Quinn. The actress who played Harley Quinn was on point this entire series for this show. I say series even though it was like 12 episodes. Bear with me. She was great. How they did her character was awesome. They really brought a lot to that character, and I felt like the actress portrayed her did a really good job. Except I don't understand, again, because of the badly conceptualized idea, how did she get to be a psychiatrist? Like, if we're supposed to see her as the same Harley Quinn, who was with the Joker the whole time, did the whole Arkham thing, how does now no one know that Dr. Quinzel is Harley Quinn? It's not like it was a secret. And if you go by the events of her origin, people knew she was a doctor before she became Harley Quinn, so there's no way she could just go back to being a doctor. So, yeah, again, bad world building, but point remains, Harley Quinn was a very good character in the show, and she was a really good villain, and I definitely enjoyed her being there, and I thought she was a really good part of the cast. Other thing, the other female leads, besides Dinah, actually quite entertaining. The actress who plays Barbara Gordon in the show looks exactly like comic book Barbara Gordon, and especially like comic book Oracle. She was great at playing that role, And Ashley Scott, I believe that's her name. Excuse me. Yeah. Ashley Scott. While she is not the strongest actress, she is not. She does bring a lot to the Helena character in terms of personality. Like, she has the personality that, well, she has Huntress's personality in a different person's body, but you know what I mean. The role she's trying to play, she does it well. She can't really do scenes where she needs to emote a lot, but in playing the Helena tough chick character, she does a really good job at it. And I think she was fun, she was entertaining, she was decent. She did a good job at what she was supposed to do. And I felt like, those two characters really were strong, and they were developing them. Like, Barbara has her own issues about her trying to get back into the bat suit, and they have the device trying to make her so that she's able to walk again, which, again, that whole storyline, how like it goes from something you can do for like a few hours and it could be her paralyzing her more, till at the end, at the finale, all of a sudden she can do it for a whole round. She can just fight and do whatever. But I guess with the finale, you're like, fuck it, we're getting canceled, we might as well just throw everything into the pot. But overall, they did a really good job with her. With Helena's character, a lot of her development was about her connecting to who she was, her mother's side, her father's side. Was she really a good person, a bad person? Her balancing this whole vigilante act, and I never really felt like she was doing the whole thing like, I wish I was normal. None of that. But it was more like, I wish I understood myself better, because she didn't know her father, didn't know her mother, and she didn't know her father. Her mother died when she was, relatively young. They give you a ponytail, so I'm supposed to believe that they're like teenagers. Okay? But, they do a good job with what they did. I felt, at least for those two characters, they did a good job of developing them, make you kind of care about them. But it wasn't enough, obviously. So yeah, those characters and their character development were really good. The other thing was that some of the stories and episodes in this show actually really good. There's an episode where Harley Quinn takes this child and mutates it to make it into like kind of like the super soldier character, and like some of these episodes are really good. They're really well constructed. They're poignant. There are no A episodes here, because I remember I graded every single episode of this show, and I don't think I gave any episode a real A, but they were all pretty much solid B's, a few C's because there have been a few ones because of the crappy CGI. Anything with Clayface is in there, holy gee whiz, that was just awful looking. But overall, it wasn't horrible, but it just wasn't that strong, and it had the ability to improve. I think was the big thing, that from what they established, there was room for them to do more with it. But at the same time, when it ends, you don't really feel like the need to go out for more. Like, after I finished rewatching this series, like, I wasn't like, God, I wish they had made more of these episodes. I was like, it was what it was. It was over. I live with it. Like, I can't say that I wish that this had gone on for longer, because I don't. I don't think it had enough going for it in terms of story and in terms of the other things going on that would make it carry on for, Smallville level of time. But I do think if it were on now with the CW, they definitely would have renewed this, because this was during the WB season. But if it had been during the CW, this would definitely be still on. But I think it ended where it had to. It's not great. I don't say that. The only reason why I bought it is because I watched it when I was little, and I honestly still remembered a lot of it. Like, there were episodes I vividly remember. Like, let me just rewatch this entire series. Let me see how bad it was. And I came into it with really low expectations of like, yeah, it's shit, everyone hates it, But then I watched it and I'm like, it's not great, but it's not that horrible. I think, like, if you can find it for free or find it online, it'd be fun to check out. If you already hate it, well, you hate it, so there's no way to revisit it. But I do think that the biggest problem with this show is that it sets up to be so many things, and it's not really a Batman show, because there's no Batman in it. It's not really a Birds of Prey show, because there are no Birds of Prey in it. Helena's not Helena, Dinah's not Dinah. All you have is Oracle, and it's kind of weak. The other characters don't really show up. They don't really do enough with the world that we're in that we feel a connection to it. I mean, what is New Gotham? Why do we care? Why did you even have to make it in, like, this pseudo-Batman world? Just go somewhere different. I think you could definitely redo this show much better, especially now. Just get, all the Birds of Prey characters and just do their own thing. Even make it into a cartoon, I would definitely be down for that. I love the Birds of Prey. I'm going to be putting this on my wall with the rest of my new pictures. up there. I just feel like at the end of the day, this failed. No. At the end of the day, this failed because it wanted to be so many different things, but it just couldn't be what it needed to be, which is a good adaptation of this. This and this have nothing in common. And I feel if it did, it would have been better.